Welcome back to MFO, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I've got one today that you are gonna love. I've been watching the Major League Fishing Heavy Hitters Tournament, and I'm going back. Guys, I watch tournaments to learn how to skip baits under those low-hanging branches like those guys did, where they're getting them, herring spawn versus shad spawn, all of that kind of stuff. I love watching. One of the things that I noticed was this. I'm going to show you a real quick clip. Watch this.
Oh, fun bite nonetheless, though. Crush that baby boss.
Scales roast.
Did you notice how he kind of dropped the fish on the scale? I noticed a lot of guys doing that, and I wondered, are they doing that for a reason, or are they just doing it because they're in a hurry, or what? The reality is that has an impact on the weight of the fish. I'm going to tell you how that works, and I'm going to show you an experiment that we did that proves that it increases the weight, and only some pros know about this trick while others don't. Stick around. You're going to want to watch this when we come back. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher. We're talking about the guys who fish Major League Fishing and use the Bubba scales. And the reality is this applies to the guys who are in catch, weigh, and release tournaments. The Major League Fishing Pro Circuit, the heavy hitters like they were, head-to-head fishing. It doesn't apply to us guys that are in the invitationals. We use Bubba scales, but we still go and put our fish on a scale, so it doesn't apply. But let me tell you what's going on. When you see a guy do this, right there at the end there, where he dropped the fish on the scale, what's happening is he's taking advantage of the technology in a Bubba scale. Because what a Bubba scale does, this is like a little mini computer. And so the minute the fish is put on the scale, it starts averaging. It takes the average weight every time that fish flops, every time that fish moves until it steadies. And then what happens is it takes a minute and it averages all of those weights until it comes up with a final reading. Well, the reality is that if you drop the fish on the scale right away, you're getting that inertia, and that inertia is adding weight to the fish, and that weight is being included in the average that the computer figures out when the fish is finally sitting there. It averages out all of those weights that it tallied, and it increases the weight of the fish because that initial dropping and the inertia got included in that average. I did an experiment to test this theory out. So I took a bag of hammers and I weighed it gently, and then I dropped the bag of hammers. Watch this. All right, so my first step in this little experiment is I'm just going to weigh a bag of hammers. And it locks in at 312. Now I'm going to drop a bag of hammers. I got it zeroed, and I'm going to see if I get a different weight. $314. I went up 2 ounces by dropping it. So you can see that that's what's actually happening. The Bubba scale is actually giving you a higher weight when you drop the fish onto the scale. So in other words, you clip the fish in and then you forcibly drop it in, or let that fish kind of wiggle around or whatever. It's actually adding more weight. Now, once again, this only applies to catch, weigh, and release tournaments when the weight is taken directly off the Bubba scale and applied to the angler's weight. But I noticed guys doing this in the heavy hitters. And so I did a little checking around. And the reality is there are absolutely some major league fishing BPT anglers who are aware of this and who use this strategy, I'm calling it a strategy, of saying, hey, if the Bubba scale is going to give me a little higher average, I'm going to drop the fish on the scale, get that little bit more, and maybe get a couple of extra ounces for every fish that I weigh in. And in heavy hitters, that absolutely gives you a little bit more each time, especially if the minimum weight is 2 pounds or the minimum weight is 3 pounds. This is coming strictly from just my observations. Some guys did it, some guys didn't do it, some guys did it consistently. Other guys, you just wondered, are they in a hurry or what's going on? But now the question is, do you think this is cheating, or is it just, hey, this is a strategy to use. I know the equipment they use, and I know how to get the most out of the equipment. I'm interested to hear your opinions. Should it be part of the rule that, hey, you have to gently place the fish on the scale and release it as opposed to letting it drop? There are an awful lot of anglers, as you can see here, that maybe get a little rough with those fish just to get that extra inertia when it comes to putting the fish on the scales. I'm not faulting Bubba for this. I'm not faulting MLF. I'm not faulting anybody. Quite honestly, this is just people recognizing a situation and saying that this is the way I'm going to do it to get a little bit of an advantage. And I don't know. I mean, my guess is there's probably some BPT anglers that are watching this video that say, oh, that's something I need to do at the next tournament. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know whether this has been discussed or whether, like I said, the Major League Fishing marshals are aware of it and they should be making sure that the anglers put the fish on the scale. I'm curious as to what your thoughts are with this. I don't know that I'm going to say that it's cheating, but I'm going to wait to hear what the results are, what the crowd results are here in your thinking of this. But guys, as you saw in the experiment, and as you can see in some of these clips from the heavy hitters, it's definitely a strategy that some guys use. I'd love for you to send in your comments. I'd also love for you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that already. We put out content Monday through Friday, along with our Underwater Wednesdays, and we'd love to see you become a part of the Mark Fisher Outdoors community. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday for more Mark Fisher Outdoors. Take care, everybody.